Welcome my dear students to the class of English Standard 5. Today we are going to see lesson number 18, Wits in the Garden, part 2. We are going to see remaining part of the lesson. In the first part of the lesson we have seen there was a boy and his name was Anshuman. He was developing many bad habits within him, and we have seen that his parents tried all the things, beating him, scolding him. Also they have handled him in a very lovingly way. They have explained him everything, but all was in well. Anshuman didn't listen anything. There was no any effect on the Anshuman. He continued with developing bad habits. But one day, finally, Anshuman's parent found one opportunity, one chance, and all the family, Anshuman and his parents, went to Anshuman's grandfather's farm, and there Anshuman and his father went for the walk, where they found one weed which is growing around the main plant. So Anshuman's father told him, "Can you pull it out?" So we have reached up to here. Now we will see the remaining part of the lesson in this video. Anshuman had no difficulty in pulling all of the small seedling out. "Good," said his father, and they continued with their walk. After a while, they came upon the same weed, but there it had grown slightly bigger. Anshuman's father told him to pull out this plant too. He told him to uproot the weed carefully, making sure that no trace of the root was left in the soil. So Anshuman had no any difficulty, had no any problem in pulling all of the small seedling. Seedling means very small plant which is coming out. "Good," said his father, and they continued. They again started with their walk. After a while, after some time, they came upon the same weed, but there it had grown slightly bigger. So they came upon again with the same weed, same useless plant, but this time it has grown little bit, slightly means little bit bigger. Anshuman's father told him to pull out this plant. Again Anshuman's father told him to pull it out, that plant too. He told him to uproot the weed carefully, and also Anshuman's father instructed him to uproot. Uproot means pull out that weed, that unused or useless plant very carefully, making sure that no trace of the root was left in the soil. Trace means very small amount of the root even should not be left in the soil. That weed should be pulled out very carefully. Now see the next paragraphs. "Otherwise the weed can grow again," he warned. So his father warned him that you should pull out all those weeds very carefully. It should not be left in the soil. Otherwise, or the weed can grow again. Again this weed will grow higher and bigger. He warned him, he instructed him. Anshuman uprooted the plant carefully, twisting it and pulling it hard so that the whole of it came out. So after having instruction from his father, Anshuman uprooted means pulled out the plant very carefully, twisting it. Twisting means bending upside, downside, right side, left side, all around, and he twisted it and pulled it out so hard with lot of efforts so that the whole of it came out. Then his father drew his attention to the same weed growing at some distance. There it had grown into a big plant with tiny flowers and dark fruit. So then his father drew means paid his attention to the same weed, to that useless plant. Again they found the same useless unwanted plant which was growing at some distance. After going at some distance, there it had grown into a big plant. There that weed had grown into a big plant with tiny tiny means small flowers, and very dark fruit grown on that weed. Now see the next paragraph. That could be quite dangerous. We mustn't leave it growing there. Take it out, said Anshuman's father. So again Anshuman's father said to him that could be quite means little dangerous, that weed had grown so much bigger that could be very dangerous for other plant or main plants, other vegetation. We must not leave this weed growing there. Take that out. Again, see the next paragraph. Anshuman held the plant in his hands and gave it a tug. The weed didn't move at all. He pulled harder and harder, but to no avail. So again Anshuman's father instructed him to hold that plant in his hand and gave it a tug. Tug means pull. So Anshuman's father instructed him that hold that plant very tightly, so hardly, and gave it a pull out very tightly again. The weed didn't move at all, but that weed was very tough and very hard to move, so that is why that weed didn't move at all, and he pulled very harder and harder, but to no avail. No avail means it was totally useless. He didn't get the result. See the next paragraph. I can't get this out, exclaimed Anshuman. It has gone too deep into the soil. So Anshuman tried very hard and he exclaimed, means said very suddenly to his father that I can't get this out, I cannot pull this out, it has gone too deep, it has grown so deep and so long into the soil, so that is why it is very much hard to get this out. So see the next paragraph. So then his father brought some implements. They dug around the weed and with great effort pulled it out. So after listening that Anshuman cannot pull that weed out because it was very tough to pull it out. So then his father brings some implements, some tools to dug. Dug means digging into the soil so that weed also will come out, and with the great effort they pulled it out finally. So digging that soil around the weed, they finally succeeded to pull that weed out. Now see the two remaining paragraphs of the lesson. When they were returning home after the hard work, Anshuman's father mentioned, habits are like weeds. The longer you allow them to grow, the harder it is to uproot them. It is wise to get rid of them when it is easy to do. So, after that incident, Anshuman's father told him when they were returning home after the lot of hard work in the farm, Anshuman's father mentioned means told him specifically with the point that habits are like weeds. These habits are like only weeds. The longer you allow, the longer you give the permission to grow them, the harder it is to uproot them. So it becomes very harder to uproot, to pull them out. So it is wise to get rid of them when it is easy to do so. So it is very wise thing, it is very clever and smart thing to get rid of them. To get rid of them means to get them out when it is easy to do so. So habits are like only weeds. Whenever they are very small, we have to get them out, we have to get rid of them when they are easy to get out. So Anshuman realized the truth in his father's words. Throughout his life, he never forgot that early morning walk on the farm with his father. So after that incident, Anshuman felt the truth in his father's word. His father, whatever his father said, he found the truth in it, and throughout his life, for whole life of him, he never forgot that early morning walk on the farm, on the field with his father. I hope, my dear students, you have understood this lesson very well. Thank you so much.